As a thank you to all of you who have supported us up to this point, and in celebration of the Scrub Academy reaching 1,000 subscribers, our brand new mat with the Scrub Academy's mascots will be given away to 2 viewers. To be entered, you'll need to be subscribed and comment on any video posted between now and the end of November. If you comment on multiple videos, each new comment will be counted as a new entry. Winners will be announced at the end of November. Enjoy the rest of today's video. What's going on, guys? This is Nathan Scrub Academy welcoming you to another deck profile here on the channel. Today I'm here with DB YuGiOh, DB YuGiOh, and he's got his Numeron deck for us. Let's go ahead and get into the deck profile.
Sweet, thanks Nate. All right, I played Numeron today. I've been playing this for the last few weeks, and I've gone 3-1 like every time I played it. It's kind of a curse. I can't get that 4-0. I'm trying. Today I went 2-2. Unfortunately, I just drew bad on the last round. I had outs, but he had better outs. So that's the breaks. So we'll go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna start off with 3 copies of Numeron Wall. It's very important to get to your Numeron network. It is your win condition. Numeron Wall lets you discard it from your hand if you control no cards to activate Numeron network from your deck. It's a quick effect. So if you go, you want to go second. If your opponent sets up, you can do that. You can discard this during the end phase before you even start your turn. Kind of helps play around stuff as well. Since it's a quick effect, you can kind of beat out stuff with it. Also, if you take battle damage, you can special summon it from your hand and the battle phase after the damage step. I actually never do that. I actually kind of forget about that, to be honest with you, but I've never had it come up, so whatever. It's just mainly to get the field spell. 3 copies of Planet Pathfinder. That is to search for your Numeron network because it is very important. I play basically 10 draws that can be the field spell in this deck. So attribute it to search for a field spell. It's the only normal summon I play. So 2 copies of YuGiOh, 2 copies of Godarla, and 2 copies of Gameciel. Play a heavy kaiju package to deal with floodgate monsters, but also your opponent needs a monster on board that's pretty sizable in order for you to OTK with the Numerons. So the kaiju is the best way to do it. The reason I choose these is because he's the lowest one. This plays around Wind Barrier statue. And this one is the biggest one, but it's also a machine, which will be relevant after I show you a certain card. You've probably already figured out what it was. I play 1 copy of Alpha and 1 copy of Pankratops. I've thought about bumping this up to 2. He's really good with kaijus because you can summon a kaiju and then summon him and bounce the kaiju to your hand and kaiju another monster if you need to. And you can resummon him if you need to. And there's all sorts of things you can do with it. It's just a good way to get rid of monsters. And he's just a way to get rid of like problem cards and back rows and stuff to open the way for the OTK. I play 3 copies of Ash Blossom and 1 copy of Ghost Bell as my hand traps. Ash is just good, obviously. Ghost Bell is really good against certain things. I only play the 1 copy. I just don't have the room for other things.
Do you wish that you had room for that?
I kind of want another one, but I don't know. There's cards in here that I'm afraid to take out, even though I hate them. So I'll
the second you take them out, so the second you're gonna need
them. Yep, that's my luck. That happens all the time. So that's it for the monsters. I play 3 copies of Numeron Network. That is your win condition. You control no monster. Well, the Numeron Calling. I play 3 copies of Numeron Calling, so I'll explain this. This dumps a Numeron spell from your deck and copies the effect of it as long as the activation requirements are good, and also you don't have to detach Xyz materials to activate the effects of Numeron Xyz you control. You can still activate the effects, you just don't detach. But if Numeron Network is in your field zone and you control no monsters, you special summon up to 4 Numeron Gate Xyz monsters with different names from your extra deck, but banish them during the end phase, and then I can only normal or special summon 1 more time for the rest of the turn. So you got to be careful with that when you're playing this deck. You don't want to accidentally cheat. It's very easy to do, so you just got to be mindful of that. But anyway, the network sends. You can also hard activate this if you control Numeron Network. So like if you play 3, it's no big deal. You really want to be able to get this OTK off. So older builds played like 2 of these, but I play 3. It's fine. This card. 3 copies of Memories of Hope. I absolutely love to hate this card. So it says draw cards equal to the number of Xyz monsters with different names you control. So when you pop up 3 or 4 Numerons, you draw 3 or 4 cards. A lot of times it's 4. I like cards that say draw 4 cards. It's crazy. The problem is if you don't have a way to get out the Numerons, this is just a sitting duck in your hand. That's why I love to hate it. 2 copies of Pot of Desires. Another card I love to hate. I hate activating this before I get my field spell and my calling and everything because I don't want to risk banishing multiple copies of those because then it'll really cause problems playing the game. But it's just a way to draw two, especially after when you up the calling, get out your guys. You can usually do this without worrying too much. Let's just get an extra 2 cards in your hand. And this is probably the most controversial card in my deck, Pot of Avarice. I hate seeing it early, but the thing is, I play 2 copies of each Numeron, and so in the grind games, this can reset those and like hand traps, kaijus, or extra deck monsters. But it's a good way to put them back so that your 3rd calling is live. Sometimes you don't win even after resolving 2 networks, so this is kind of in there for that situation. I hate seeing it early though. It usually doesn't do anything, but I don't know. It's another one of those cards I'm really afraid to take out because I know as soon as I take it out, I'm going to need it. 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More. So you're going second. Your opponent's setting up a board full of negates like Winda, Mikava, stuff like that, Appaloosa. You're going to blank their board, and you're not going to OTK, but there's a couple things you can do, a couple extra deck options you can do with the Numerons, and I'll go over that in a second. But yeah, sometimes you need to blank your opponent's board in order to go off. And this is a card that you probably don't have to play, but I really like it because it can steal games you have no right winning. 2 copies of Limiter Removal. So the Numerons are machines, and they all double each other's attack. And you can, if your opponent doesn't have a monster, and you have limit removal, you can summon the 4 Numerons, and they're each 1,000, and then you can just double them, so you can still win through an empty board. Usually you can't win through an empty board, but with this you can. It's a win more card. You don't have to play it, but I'm fine with it. A lot of times I'll side out a copy just for other things that I need, because you don't need it, but it's decent. Terraforming for the field spell, obviously, and Called by the Grave for hand traps. Not many hand traps really stop this deck. Nibiru sucks, but this doesn't stop Nibiru. Ghost Ogre is like the one thing that hurts, so like not many people play it, but I have been surprised by it out of nowhere because they can Ghost Ogre the field spell. They cannot Ash the field spell. They cannot Ash the Numeron wall because they activate the spell from the deck. They do not, and the field spell sends the calling as a cost, not by an effect, so they can't Ash it. But it's just for Valor. It's good against Valor. Valor actually kind of sucks too. And then 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence to round out the deck. It's 40 cards, 40 even. Permanence is pretty good. If you're going to go off, it'll blank your opponents like Winda and stuff. So Winda's not like the worst thing that you can see against this deck, but other things like Mikava sucks, so you kind of need an answer to it. Mm-hmm. Extra deck, 2 of each. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Used to only play 1/4, but I bumped it up to 2 so that I can get the maximum value off of Memories of Hope later in the game, or just OTK, because you need 4 for the OTK usually.
Now, for those of people who don't actually know what Numerons do, could you explain them a little bit?
Oh yeah, I'll tell you. So they all have the exact same effect, so I really only have to read one of them to you. Can be destroyed by battle. At the end of the damage step, if this battles an opponent's monster, you can detach a material from this, which you don't have to with the field spell. Double the attack of all Numerons you currently control until the end of the turn. Okay. So they start off at 1,000. Your opponent has a monster on the field like a kaiju, so they have a 2,200. You summon the 4, you attack into it, you take 1,200, and then you activate the effect, double them all to 2,000. Then your 2,000 attacks into it, you take 200 damage, and then double the attack of all of them, so they're all up to 4,000. You attack with the 4,000 into the kaiju, they'll take 1,800, and they'll double the attack of all Numerons. Your last one will attack directly for 8,000.
Busted, alright.
Yep, if you have limit removal, you can do that a lot quicker. Or like I said, if they have an empty board, you can just win the game right there. And then some of the things that you go into. So like I said, the Numeron calling says that you can summon normal or special summon once for the rest of the turn after you pop out your 4 dudes. So you need some options to go into. Number C1, you overlay it onto a Numeron number 1. It has to be specifically number 1. So you can overlay it onto number 1 to XC summon it. If this card is XC summoned, you banish all monsters on the field. And then during your next standby phase, if this card is banished, you can special summon this card. And if Numeron Network is in your field zone, you do damage to your opponent equal to the combined attack of all banished Xyz monsters. So most of the time, you're going to have your other 3 on the field that were on the field at the time you summon this that are going to get banished, and then he'll come back, and then your opponent will take 3,000 damage. That's not the burn damage is not the most important thing. The important thing is you're going to banish all monsters on the field. This is relevant for Dark Ruler No More. So if you blank your opponent's board and then you just banish it, and then he'll come back during the next turn. I've resolved this only a couple times because people will Veiler it, people will imperm it, and it sucks. And it's like, it is what it is. But when you get it off, it's really good. So you have to play it. It's too good not to. Mega Clops. 3 Xyz monsters, and he's unaffected by monsters effects except for Xyz monsters. Not many people play Xyz monsters. I know there's Zeus and stuff, but like Shaddolls and other heavy effect monster decks, they just can't out this thing. It's 4,000 attack. It's also a machine, haha. Can't be destroyed by battle except with an Xyz monster. And then the other effect is irrelevant because you can special summon an Xyz monster from your graveyard, but you don't have any that you play that you can summon off this because they weren't properly Xyz summoned, so you can't do that. But he's really hard to out for certain decks, and he's just huge. Avermax, I have actually never summoned this yet. I don't know. It's decent. I know I'm going to need it in a certain situation, but I haven't taken it out. So he's still in there, but he's just a good body to have.
All right.
YuGiOh. If my opponent makes me go first and I have no good like hand traps or anything, and if I have the field spell, I'll usually make my 4 dudes, and if I have to draw something, if I need to draw something good, I'll play him to see more cards in my deck, especially after a Memories of Hope, because I'll draw 4, and then I'll make him draw 4 more, so I'll get to see 8 cards in my deck, so I can grab some kaiju, some like hand traps and stuff like that. Just depends on the situation. I will actually summon Appaloosa more than I'll summon YuGiOh, because first turn you can summon her, and it'll be 4 materials, so she'll be 3,200. That makes certain matchups hard to play, obviously. And then the Spice. There was a while I wasn't playing this card, and I really don't know why, but when I was building this deck, I was like, man, what good Link 4s can I use? Did not even consider that there's a really good Link 5 you should be playing. Goddess of the Closed World. So if you Link summon it, you can use an opponent's monster as one of the materials. So you bring out your 4 dudes, and if they have a problem card, you can literally kaiju from the extra deck, this card. When it's Link summoned, you can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent controls. It's really nice. And then it's unaffected by your opponent's card effects unless they target it. So if they have something that doesn't target it, it ain't going anywhere. And then also the nice effect is when your opponent activates an effect that special summons a monster from the graveyard once per turn, you can negate the activation. So this was really funny against my friend Ben last week. He was playing zombies, and so I got this on board when he had a Baller Drock, and every turn he tried to bring back Baller Drock, I would negate it, and he couldn't bring out Baller Drock. So I just kept it out of the graveyard. It was really funny. Unfortunately, time was really low in the round, and he was able to win in time by the time I got this established, but it was still really funny. And then I played 1 copy of N-Test because I side decked Dogmatic Punishments. However, I am probably going to take them out because I haven't really liked how they've been performing. So this is probably going to change to something. I don't know what yet. That's it for the extra deck. Side deck, 2 Lancia, obviously 2. It's a really good card. 2 Droll and 1 Lava Golem. I kind of want to play another one. It's good against certain matchups. I kind of want to play. What is it? Winged Dragon of Raw Sphere mode. The only problem with that is you can't attack it. So if that's the only card that I put on their side of the field, I can't OTK them. So I would have to follow it up with a kaiju. So which can happen, but I don't want to rely on that. So I think Lava Golem is actually the best option. I kind of want to put a second one in because certain matchups that flood the board with floodgates, I want to be able to draw those as often as possible. But I only put in 1 for now. 3 Cosmic Cyclone, obviously good card. Mystic Mine, yeah, Mystic Mine sucks, but against certain matchups. Because I play Terraforming and 3 copies of Planet Pathfinder, if I need to stall for a little bit, if I don't have a good hand, I can bring this out and just wait. And then my opponent's just going to sit there. Just depends on the matchup. I might take it out, though. It hasn't really done as much for me as I'd like. 3 Solemn Judgment. If they make me go first, it's just a good card, except apparently against Sky Strikers because they can just beat me directly and make me lose faster, whatever. 2 Dogmatic Punishment. There's another going first card, just good destruction with N-Test. And 1 copy of Red Reboot because you're an OTK deck and your opponent plays trap cards. You do not want them to have trap cards, so this card's stupid. You just win the game with it. So that is it for the deck profile. Like I said, 40 cards in the main. So,
all right.
Yeah.
So you talked about the only things that you would really try and change up would be the hand trap, right? You might want to add a couple of those, maybe.
I kind of want to.
You could, but you don't really want to try and take things out.
I kind of want to add 1 more. I might add for a 41st card, but I really hate playing 40. This deck relies so heavily on the field spell. Playing more than 40 just feels wrong. I think I think this and Called By is probably fine for the Graveyard Disruption. I don't know. If I could fit it in, it might be Pot of Avarice, but like I said, I will regret taking out Pot of Avarice as soon as I do. But the extra deck and the side deck, I definitely kind of want to go away from the Intest and the Dogmatic Punishment and find something different to put in. I don't know. Maybe Lightning Storm might be a good option.
All right, Dustin, well, thank you so much for bringing us your Numeron deck. If you did enjoy today's deck profile, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell on the way out the door because all your support is greatly appreciated. If you have not checked out YuGiOh's YouTube channel, make sure to check that out. I will have it linked down in the description for you as well as up in the cards. I'll find some more stuff for you. And then stay tuned because this deck will be having some live duels later on this week and you'll be able to check out the deck in action. But as always, this is Nathan from Script Academy, signing out for now. Peace out.